Hello students, once again you are welcome to the e-learning. In this video we are going to discuss a very important topic that has been asked by the board many times. This topic is a change in electropositivity and electronegativity of an element when we go down the group and we move across a period either left to right or right to left. It means we will see here what change takes place in the electropositivity of an element or electronegativity of an element when we move down to the group in periodic table or we move left to right or right to left across a period. So before beginning this video, I will request everybody to share this video so that maximum number of students will get this information, and it gives me encouragement to make new videos on the very important topics. So let's begin. So let's begin with the periodic table from the first group. What is the first group? This is the first group. This is the first group. Elements of the first group are hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium. Okay, then we can take 13th group, boron, aluminium. Then we can take 18th group directly, helium, neon, argon, krypton. These are the 18th group. So when we move down to the group like this, hydrogen to lithium, lithium to sodium, sodium to potassium, how electropositivity changes. Then when we move helium to neon, argon, krypton, how electropositivity change. What are the change in the electropositivity? When we move left to right, what change takes place in the electronegativity of an element? This and all we are going to discuss in this chapter. Before starting the topic of electropositivity, we will see the periodic table. This is the modern periodic table which is prepared by Henry Moseley. And this table is prepared according to the increasing order of the atomic numbers. So you can see hydrogen atomic number is 1, then helium atomic number is 2, lithium 3, beryllium 4, boron 5. So here all the elements are arranged small to big atomic number, means less to more, which is having less atomic number, one atomic number, that is coming first, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay, now this table is divided into two parts. Which are the two parts? Rows and columns. Okay, rows and columns. So rows, in the rows and column, this table is divided. Rows are also called period and column also called groups. Okay. Now this vertical arrangement is called group and horizontal arrangement is called period. So total, so here you can see this vertical arrangement that is called group. There are 18 groups. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, so like it till 18. And how many periods are there? 7 periods are there. How many periods? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the 7 periods. Now let's see the electronic distribution in an atom of a particular element. So here we will see first the atom of hydrogen. Atom of hydrogen is having 1 electron because atomic number is 1. So this 1 electron revolve in first shell because first shell capacity to hold 2 electrons and there's only 1 electron. So 1 electron which is revolving in the first shell. Now helium, it's having the 2 electrons which is revolving in the first shell only because first shell capacity is holding the 2 electrons. So the first shell is complete. Now lithium, 2 shells. Beryllium, boron, they are all having 2 shells. Sodium, magnesium, aluminium, they are having 3 shells. So this is the increasing order of their atomic number. And if we come down to the group, so we will see the hydrogen, lithium, sodium, like that. Now let's discuss the concept of electropositivity and negativity. So electropositivity is nothing, it is the nature of a particular element. What is the electropositivity? It is the nature. What kind of nature? In that one atom is ready to donate the electron, to give the electron to particular element. Now let us understand the concept of electropositivity. What is the electropositivity actually? So electropositivity is nothing, it is the nature. As we can see in the definition, it is a tendency of an atom to donate the electrons. Okay, means it is the nature of an atom. Because of that, due to that, atom donates the electron to another atom. Why does it donate? What is the reason behind that? That we'll see. So it is the nature of an atom by which donate the electron and form the positively charged cations. Cation means positively charged particle. For that we will see the electronic distribution of the sodium. In that, sodium is having how many shells? 3 shells. First shell, second shell, third shell. In the third shell, sodium has only 1 electron and that is incomplete. Now to complete this third shell, sodium need how many electrons? 18 electrons, which is electrically impossible. Okay, because nobody can donate 17 electrons because one already is having, one sodium is having, it needs 17 electron. So 17 electron sodium cannot take from any atom because electrically it is impossible. So that sodium will think, why I should have this 1 electron unnecessary in my outermost shell, because for only 1 electron it has to occupy one full shell. So that is the reason this electron will be free electron. It is considered as a localized electron, free electron. Why? Because it is very far from the nucleus. And we know electrons are negatively charged particle and protons are positively charged particle. So this positive charged particle apply the force to pull this electron towards the nucleus. Now its distance, the distance of the outermost shell in the sodium, you can see distance is more. Now the force also will be less. How much more distance will be there from nucleus to the outermost shell, that much force will be reduced, that much less force will be applied by the nucleus. Now this electron is having less force, less attention by the nucleus, so now it is free to move. So this electron which is present in the outermost shell of the sodium will jump to the another atom where it is required, by which element needs this electron. Like we can say chlorine. Okay, so sodium has electronic distribution 2 8 1. First shell 2 electrons, second shell 8, third shell 1 electron. This is the free electron. Okay, now if we see the chlorine, in the chlorine case electronic distribution 2 8 7. Why? Because atomic number of the sodium is chlorine is 17. So this electron of the sodium will combine with the chlorine and form the NaCl, sodium chloride. Okay, so for that, since it donates the electron, means how many protons are there sodium is having? Protons will be 11 only, but electron will become 10. Why? Because it has donated 1 electron to the chlorine. Same case in the chlorine, proton will be how many? Proton will be 17 only. In the case of chlorine, proton will be 17 only, but electron become 18. Why electron become 18? Because it has taken 1 electron from the sodium. Okay, so now negative charge are more, so it has become negatively charged particle. Sodium became positively charged particle. Why? Because in the sodium positively charged particle is more, 11. Negatively charged particle are 10 only. Why? Because it has donated. So 2 plus 8, 10 electrons only, but protons are 11. So now the sodium has become positively charged particle and chlorine has become negatively charged particle. So this is the nature of the sodium to donate the electron. Why does it donate the electron? Because there is a 1 electron in the outermost shell. Because of that, whatever, nucleus apply less force and there is a free electron which moves to another atom and forms the other chemical or any ionic compound or covalent compound. Okay, so this property is called what? Electropositivity. Positivity means when the atom donates the electron to another atom. Okay, in that case protons become more, so that it forms the positively charged particle, that is called cations. Okay, now here sodium is donating the electron, but who is getting the electron? Chlorine is getting the electron. Who is getting the electron? Chlorine. So chlorine is called electronegative. Why? Because it is forming the it is forming the negatively charged particle by taking one electron from the sodium. So the nature by which sodium donate the electron, that's called electropositivity, and the nature by which chlorine gains the electron, chlorine takes the electron from the sodium, that is called electronegativity. I hope now you have understand the concept of electropositivity and electronegativity. What change takes place? How does electropositivity changes when we move along a period? In a period, electropositivity decreases. Decrease means reduces. Means any element become less electropositive when we move along a period. Why? It is just because of increase in ionization energy. Ionization energy means the energy which is required to make electron free from the atom. That is called ionization energy. Okay, like suppose here is the lithium atom. We talk about the lithium atom. So in the lithium atom outermost shell there is a one electron. Now this electron is pulled by the nucleus due to some nuclear charges, nuclear force. Okay, when this atom want to donate the electron, or when this atom when this electron want to move to another atom for the combination or the formation of the bond, that time there is some energy requirement will be there. Okay, what will be there? Energy requirement. Without energy, why energy is required? Because nucleus is pulling this electron toward the nucleus. Okay, now to make free the electron, to make electron free from this atom, what is required? Some energy is required. Like suppose if we talk about the sodium, in the sodium also one electron is the outermost shell. So this one electron only occupying full shell. So the sodium will think I should donate this electron to another atom and I can form the bond, I can form another compound. So this energy is called ionization energy. What do we call this energy? Ionization energy. Why ionization? Means by donating or gaining the electron. By donating or gaining the electron, what happens? Ions are formed, or the formation of ions. And for donating and gaining some energy is required. Okay, without energy the atom will not leave this electron. Okay, to make electron free from this particular atom, either sodium atom, either lithium atom, we need some energy. So that this energy is called ionization energy. Okay, now when we move left to right, number of electrons in outermost shells are increasing. In the case of hydrogen, only one electron in the outermost shell. In the helium, 2 electrons. Same if we go in the second period, you can see lithium has 1 electron outermost shell, beryllium has 2, boron has 5. So when we move left to right, whatever number of electrons are increasing outermost shell. And we have discussed in the previous video how many more electron will be there in the outermost shell, that much will be more ionization energy is required. Why more ionization energy is required? Because if the more electron, more force will be there towards the nucleus. What will be there? More force is will be applied on the electron which are present in the outermost shell, or we can say nucleus apply more force. Clear? Because nucleus is a positive charge. If more force is there, then the nucleus is pulling electron toward this side, and electron want to move outside, they want to free. So there will be what you can say, two opposite forces are there. Due to that, what happens? There will be resistance to make electron free. If the outermost shell has less electron, there will be less force. Okay, that time what will happen? There will be easy to make electron free from the atom. What means if more electrons are there in the outermost shell, what is required? More force is required, or you can say ionization energy will be more. If less electrons are there, what will be the less force towards the nucleus? So that what happen? Ionization energy will be less. So when we move left to right, due to increase the ionization energy, what happen? Electropositivity decreases. Means what you can say, if the less electrons are there, atom will be more electropositive, element will be more electropositive, it can donate the electrons easily due to less nucleus force. As we move left to right, what happened? Like beryllium, boron, in the comparing the beryllium and boron, whose ionization energy will be more? Boron, because in the boron outermost shell there are more electrons. Okay, so that ionization energy will be more. Same thing if we compare sodium, magnesium, aluminum, which will be more electropositive, sodium will be more electropositive, because in its outermost shell only how many electrons are there? One electron is there. This one electron is present in the outermost shell, and one more factor is there, distance from the nucleus. Since in the sodium there's a third is the outermost shell, and the third outermost shell is more far compared to the second shell. So in the lithium, if you see, in the case of lithium, lithium has only two shells. Okay, so its distance from the nucleus is less than the sodium. So in case of sodium, donating the electron is easier. First, ionization energy is less because only one electron in the outermost shell, even one in the lithium also and sodium also. But in the lithium, distance from the nucleus to the outermost shell is more, and we have discussed more distance means less force will be there by the nucleus. More distance means less force. Okay, and less distance means more force. So if we compare about the lithium and sodium, sodium will be more electropositive. It is always ready to donate one electron to another atom and forms a bond. That is why sodium is the highly reactive metal, and this electropositivity is seen especially in the metals. So metals are usually electropositive. Okay, second case I have explained you why electropositive increase down the group, because distance from the nucleus to the outermost shell increases. Okay, that is sometimes they ask the question sometimes they ask the question why electropositivity is present in the metal, or why metals are electropositive. Because of free electron, they have free electron in the outermost shell, and even less electron in the outermost shell, so that they donate this electron easily, and they are electropositive, or they form the positive ion. That's why they are called electropositive. On the other hand, non-metals are the electronegative. Non-metals are electronegative. Why they electronegative? Because they gain the electrons. Okay, and this electronegativity increases when we move left to right. We have seen when we move left to right, what happens? When we move left to right, what is happening? We can see number of electrons in the outermost shells are increasing. We can compare lithium, beryllium, boron, which has more electrons in the outermost shell, boron. And I told you, when more electrons are there, more ionization energy. So this will be difficult for the atom to donate the electron, and the atom will try to gain the electron to form the bond. Okay. So we move left to right, what will happen? Electronegativity increases. That is the reason all non-metals are found in the right side of the periodic table. Left side all metals, and right side all non-metal like boron, carbon, silicon. Silicon is a metalloid, means it has metal property and non-metal property. But you can see nitrogen, phosphorus, oxygen, sulfur, these are all the non-metal. Okay, because they are electronegative, they gain the electrons and try to complete their outermost shell, or they form the negative ion. That's why they are electronegative. And even sometimes they ask the question why metals are found in the left side, non-metals are found are kept in the right side. Because metals are electropositive, so that they are kept in the left side, and non-metals are right side, because when we move left to right, electropositivity decreases and atom become, or element become, electronegative. So now we have discussed very nicely the concept of electropositivity and electronegativity. Next video I will bring one more important topic for the exam point of view. Till then, thank you, take care, have a nice day.